Does a counterfeit of true Christianity exist in the world today? Are there churches that profess to follow Christ and the teachings of the Bible, but actually teach an opposing worship system? This is an extremely important question to answer. If you are one who is a member of a professing Christian church and believe that you are a follower of Christ, the Apostle Paul explained the following to the congregation in Ephesus: "There is one body, one Spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all." This tells us that there is only one spiritual entity comprised of people who truly practice what is written in the biblical record, not many churches having many differing beliefs, philosophies, and teachings about what is written in the Bible. Jesus gave the following warning about false prophets and how to recognize them, which also reveals how to recognize false Christians. Watch out for false prophets. They shall come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you shall recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit, it is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit you will recognize them. Although Jesus was referring to false prophets, the same principles can and should be applied to any individual or groups of individuals who profess to follow Christ and the teachings of the Bible. When the principle of "you will know them by their fruits" is applied to most of professing Christianity today, some surprising things are revealed. Christianity as practiced by the hundreds of millions of people today in its various forms promises a world of peace, prosperity, happiness, and an abundant life free of hunger, disease, poverty, war, crime, and violence. This is what most of professing Christianity says it can deliver if people will only believe what they teach. The problem is that belief in these various teachings have not delivered and does not seem to be able to deliver these promised benefits. Look at the world today. Look at the violence, the crime, the hunger, the disease, the poverty, the war, the immorality, adultery, lying, cheating, and unethical behavior within all of the professing Christian nations. Why do these problems exist when the belief in and the practice of these various teachings are supposed to remove all of these problems and replace them with peace, happiness, prosperity, and all of the things that are good and beneficial to humanity? One only has to review a few of the thousands of different ideas and teachings that people have about the Bible and what Christ and the apostles taught to understand that something is very wrong. Is it possible that most of what is being taught as Christianity today is a clever deception? Jesus said that you will know those who are teaching in opposition to God's truth by their fruits. What are the fruits of what is taught by most professing Christianity today? Are the fruits good, or are they bad? Shortly after the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we find a dynamic evangelizing church spreading the Sovereign Father's truth throughout the world. However, as dynamic as this church was, it virtually disappeared from history after the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. From 70 A.D. to 120 A.D., there was very little recorded about these individuals. When historians again began to write about the church, they wrote of a dramatically different church than the one that embraced the teachings of Jesus Christ and the apostles. Today we find many groups and organizations that profess to believe in the Bible and follow the teachings of Christ, yet the vast majority of their teachings do not even faintly resemble what Christ, the apostles, and the early church taught. We find great confusion among them as to who God is, what the Bible actually says is truth, who Jesus Christ was and is, and what constitutes the gospel message that Christ taught. Is it possible that most of what was taught as truth after the disappearance of the apostolic church was not truth? And is it possible that what is being taught today by most who profess to teach biblical truth is not God's truth, but a clever deception? Look at the results of these teachings. Are the results of centuries of these teachings the results that God promised to those who follow His teachings? You be the judge. If you are serious about your salvation and want biblical answers to many of the questions that I have asked about professing Christianity as it exists today, get a free copy of my books, Who is God and What is the Bible and Its Message, and The Synagogue of Satan. Until next time, this is Bud Cockrell from BibleResearch.org.